Hello there. Welcome to Sweet Shot of Time, Between Seasons. It's the flaming best Wheel of Time podcast out there. I'm Steve from Introvoid. I'm here with James, the Marshland Monster. How's it going there, James?
It's going so well because I just watched a behind the scenes season 2 of Wheel of Time. However, I need to find out what's behind you. Steve, did you move to a mall from the late 1970s? Because I'm perplexed. Usually there's a bookcase that has way too many references to me, James, on it. But today it looks like you're in a padded room, but like not in an asylum. It looks like you are in a mall that has carpeted walls.
This is the new Foul Orchard Studios, man. We got some professional gear up in here. I did some yard work for a friend. You see, the bookcase is still there.
Okay, oh, hell
it's all behind me. But yeah, I did some yard work for a friend of mine, some poison ivy pulling, because I'm not allergic to poison ivy. I can get in there and yank at the roots, and all the juice runs down my hands, and it doesn't bother me one bit.
What about venom ivy?
Venom, like from the Spider-Man villain?
No,
Venom?
poison ivy is if you touch it, it'll affect your skin, but venom ivy is like, it's ivy that has little, not claws on it, like teeth, like thorns on it, and if it gets in your bloodstream, it affects you.
I don't know. I've only been around poison ivy and poison oak, and I've only had mild cases of both.
That's Nicole and I's song, Poison Oak by Bright Eyes.
Nice. Okay.
Listen to that song. You'll be like, why the fuck is this their song?
Well, yeah, I got these new sound diffusers. These are some pretty nice things, straight from Acoustics First. My buddy Sam, his family owns Acoustic First, and they do all the sound for churches and the National Stadium here in Richmond, Virginia, like where all the good bands come and play. They did all the acoustics for that. A NASA facility that did all the acoustics for that as well. And they did Foul Orchard Studios. So thank you, Acoustics First.
They supplied the material.
No, they installed the material as well.
Whoa, they did too?
They do the whole deal, man.
Whoa. I mean, here in your place.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Sam loaded up my car with a bunch of diffusers, and I drove away and came home and assembled them. Yes.
Yeah, so they supplied Foul Orchard Studios. They did not do Foul Orchard Studios.
They're not going to come here and take pictures and put them in their office and show it off. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talked about that Wheel of Time teaser video. We actually got an official teaser from these guys. It was only like a minute long, but I loved it. What did you defer from it, or what did you take from it?
I'm liking the visual aesthetic that's going into this. I know, nothing's color graded. It's not going to be how it will be seen, but it shows that we're not just getting the, hey, we're in a forest in a town fantasy. We're getting did you ever play Diablo 2?
I did not.
So in Diablo 2, each act is in this different area of the world, and it feels a lot like Act 2 and 3 for this next season. But Lut Gholein, I believe is how you pronounce the town in that. It's a desert town, and then you get like more of a jungle-looking town, plus like weird necromancy. It's real cool. You guys should check that out.
Oh, right on. I deferred a few things from it. I liked seeing the shaven head Rand. Did you see him with his head shaved, sitting back looking like a cool dude?
Yeah, man, I totally know every actor by the backs of their heads when they have shaved heads, not like the hair I know them by. Why would I have thought like, that's Rand? It's Rand!
Because it was a shot that was like... I should send you a screenshot of the image because it stayed on him for like a minute. It was a full-on face-on shot. Sunshine was shining through his back, and he had a nice gleaming shaved head. But it was our boy, and it was plain. Did you see right after that shot of Rand, they showed a shot of the Peddler, Pedane Fan?
The Peddler, I knew who he was based on like cloak and hair. But again... I've seen each of these episodes once,
Right.
With an analytic, comedic mind. I'm not just like sitting back saying like, I'm really soaking this in.
Well, you're supposed to be. That's what Sweet Child of Time is all about. But you do you, James. But I liked seeing Padain Fein because he had that look on his, I don't know if you caught that rat look on his face, but his he was all contorted like he was getting ready to bite somebody and give him rabies or something. I don't know. I loved it. And the main...
I watched this 3 times, and I wouldn't have been like, that person has a rat face. They're ready to eat someone. I don't remember seeing really anyone's full face in this entire teaser.
You must remember seeing our buddy Egwene dressed in white at the White Tower. It was a scene like there was you could see the camera in front of her. So it was like one of the first shots they showed. Did you happen to see that?
I mean, yeah, I did see it, but I didn't register as this is someone I know. I thought these were all new characters besides the peddler.
Nah, they're trying to show us like the people to get us excited again. And yeah, that was Egwene. She was wearing white, and meaning that she's in the White Tower wearing novice white. We saw an image of that. It's not a spoiler because it's right there in the teasers, and you didn't catch it, but I mean, it was there for you to catch.
I wasn't saying no as a spoiler. I'm just saying no, that she shouldn't be with the Aes Sedai.
She's into him, man. You could tell she's into him the whole time. That's like what her character has been built up to be. Remember when, you might not remember this, but when she and Nynaeve went in to meet the Armorillan seat, and Nynaeve was kind of shitty with her, but Egwene was all bowing and all yes ma'aming and all that stuff.
She's just a kid, guys. She's coming of age, okay? So I don't think she should be allowed to make these extravagant decisions, just like, children saying, I'm going to spend $100,000 on college. Shouldn't be allowed.
You remember another dude that we both agreed that he probably didn't die, but... what was his name? Valda, Child Valda of the White Cloaks. You remember Egwene stabbed him and Perrin berserkered on him?
Yeah.
And they left his body. So, we're not sure if he's dead or alive. We think he's alive, but we're not sure at this point. But then we see another White Cloak, and that's the guy who's on the thumbnail of that video. He's got that blonde hair, flock of seagulls looking dude. He's definitely one of the White Cloaks because you can see an emblem on his jacket. I thought he might be one of the Aiel guys. But he's not. He's a White Cloak. So not sure. I don't recognize the actor. Nobody does. So not sure if he's going to be the new leader of the White Cloaks or if he's just a random extra that just happened to have a photographable face or what. But, speculation there for the White Cloaks.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Much like a Brett Gelman coming into Stranger Things, it's a comedian you love, but plays both drama and comedy very well. Mm-hmm. Who, out of all your comedy favorites, who's someone you would love to see show up in Wheel of Time?
I already know the answer to this because I've already discussed it in full detail on Facebook. Melissa Villaseñor, I would love to see her on here because she could play somebody with multiple personalities. She'd be hilarious, but she's also, I don't know if you listen to her podcast or not, but she gets pretty raw, and I think that she could do a great Aes Sedai.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How about you?
I would love to see just as... they wouldn't be able to really do a main character. Eventually, maybe things start to intertwine and they're seen more and more, but they'd have to be maybe a bar owner,
okay,
a weird, kind of a dirty character, but I believe she's getting typecast as that, and it's Betsy Sidaro.
I could absolutely see that. Or even as an Aes Sedai. I mean, Aes Sedai have vastly different personalities. Or, like a townsfolk. What else could she be? Like royalty. I mean, there's some pretty crazy royalty figures that we're going to meet. And she could definitely fit into that role as one of our royalty.
I have heard her say like she doesn't want to play in like she doesn't want dramatic roles. She wants like nutso fucking out there shit. So it's like she might not even want to do this.
Oh, I know the perfect role for her. Anybody who's listening that's read the books, this is not any kind of spoiler for you, but there's this group called the Women's Circle. Not the Women's Circle that you know of, Nynaeve, but they're just a group called the Women's Circle, and there is an Aes Sedai who is not an Aes Sedai. There's a cook who works in the White Tower, and she's kind of a liaison between the Aes Sedai and this circle of women. And I think that she would be a fantastic cook, like the cook that kind of helps out, these wayward women. And I think Lannis is her name. I can't remember. People are probably like shaking their fists at me right now, but yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. That would be a great Betsy Sidara role.
Anyone shaking their fists, remember there's like 400 central characters in this fucking book series, so shut up. Also, Joe Pera would be good. I know I talk about Joe Pera a bunch on Shuffling the Deck, but I think as just like a librarian, he would be perfect as.
Okay. A librarian type, maester type. His counterpart, Nathan Fielder. I've been watching Nathan Fielder shows recently, and he would fit in that role pretty well, too.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and we got a few actors that are going to be joining us here. And you and Jeff from Titanosaur from a couple weeks ago were, kind of jokingly bitching about all the characters on the show. And we don't need more characters on the show. We already got plenty, et cetera, et cetera. I need to turn my phone on silent. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Yeah, you should also tilt your camera up just a little bit so I'm not just seeing the bottom of your mouth. There you go.
I wasn't aware that was a situation. Very sorry about that. One of the scenes we saw in that teaser was a definite, like you were saying, I could tell from the back of this person's head that it was our new Matt. Of course, Donald Finn is going to be portraying Matt going forward. And there was one scene of him along with somebody else in a dusty barn, and they had staffs, and they were doing like some synchronized staff training. So we're going to see Donald Finn as that dude, Matt. And I have a prediction to make. I'm willing to put money on it, but I'm sad if it happens. Something that TV shows like fantasy shows like to do is they like to get cute and meta, especially when it goes from book to screen. And they'll throw in little lines that the TV showers won't catch, but the book viewers will, or something meta. I guarantee you that in episode 1, when we see Matt for the first time, somebody's going to make some kind of meta joke along the lines of, oh, you're a different man now, Matt, or, you sure look different, Matt. I'm willing to put money on this. Anybody wants to take this? James, you want to take it?
No, but I do. I like it when people do that. I believe in Big Mouth they did it. And the earliest I can remember them doing this is Mystery Science Theater 3000 season 2, when they went over from J. Elvis Harvey, whatever the original Tom Servo was. He wanted to leave because he's like, oh, this feels too corporate now, which is insane for you to be like, yeah, Mystery Science Theater, when they switched over to the Comedy Channel, they got corporate. They were still in Minnesota. Right. No executives they were able to do whatever they wanted because no executives wanted to go to Minnesota. And when they did, they're like, this is too cold. All right, yeah, that's cool. I'm leaving. But when I'm blanking on his name, the new Tom Servo, the Tom Servo as Tom Servo, the first episode of season 2, they're working on his speech chip. His sound chip got fucked up, and they're like, oh yeah, we got to recalibrate this. And that's a perfect explanation on why he's a robot. You can change his speech patterns and whatnot. It just cherry writing on behalf of these weirdos in Minnesota.
I don't remember the first time I heard of such meta joke, but a definite one that I remember is Game of Thrones when in the book Game of Thrones, Tyrion was part of a battle and his nose was completely chopped off. And so for the rest of the series, he didn't have a nose, just a big gaping wound in the middle of his face.
Yucky.
Yucky. But of course, Peter Dinklage didn't do that. And in the show, instead of doing that, they just did a, he got hit on the face. He got a scratch across his nose or some such. And like the first scene that they show him, like his sister comes in and she's like, "Oh, your face doesn't look that bad. I heard it was much worse than that," which was a direct quote from the book. But not direct quote, but all us fans chuckled. But I'm already predicting this happening with Matt, with him changing that character. I'm going to go ahead. Sorry.
I think they're not going to.
Okay, well, let's put a gentleman's bet on it then, not a money bet. We'll discuss the stakes later, but we have plenty of time for this. But I know it's going to happen. We're going to have Greg Chillington Ryan. He's playing Lord Ingtar, and I'm mistaken. I make a lot of mistakes on this podcast. I made one a couple weeks ago where I told you that this guy, Greg, was playing Lord Agelmar, who we saw get ran through with a spear in the last episode of season 1. This is Lord Ingtar. I've got these two characters mixed up, Agelmar, Ingtar. You can kind of see where I did that. So no spoilers. We're not sure if Agelmar made it through that or not. That was just my speculation. We got Lord Ingtar here. We're going to have a character. This is going to be one of the main characters. So there's lots of, tertiary characters and secondary characters, but we still haven't met all of the main characters of our show yet. So one of those is going to be played by Sierra Coveney. I told you she played in the show Eve. She played the titular Eve. And then a fella named Arnis Fedorovicius. I don't know who he's playing. It's not announced, but he's going to be in episode 1, and he's going to be joining the main cast as a regular dude.
Phantom Menace.
And then we got Ayoola Smart. She's going to be playing Avienda, which is also one of our main characters of the show going forward. Couple people. We got Natasha O'Keefe. We know she's going to be playing an Aes Sedai, but we don't know which one. We got Mira Sayal. We're pretty sure she's the one that's going to be playing Viren, but we're not sure. And then we have Guy Roberts going to be playing Uno, which is cool as shit. I'm glad Uno is coming back and joining the cast. I wouldn't consider him a main character, but he's buddies with the main character. Like me, I'm buddies with you. I'm not a main character of the Marshland Media. I'd be like a secondary character, I guess, right?
I mean, you're still you're a co-host, so... But I guess you didn't come up in this,
I did not.
Formerly of Vivid Seats employees that everyone was ushered in or we met through, minus Sean and Shelby. Those are the only two that didn't come up in that world, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay. Well, I mean, you would either be the star of this show if we had casting like that, or you would be one of those guys like, starring Steve Barnes or featuring, or, one of those deals.
Introducing.
No, not introducing, because, everybody knows who you are, but I don't even know why I'm trying to cast us.
It's however, what's his face was, Daddy or Grandfather Gilmore and Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls. Right. But what's up?
What's up? I think we talked enough about the teaser and who's coming in the next show. The next important piece of business, James, is at the San Diego Comic-Con just recently. They had our boy Lan, Daniel Henney, up there on stage with everybody doing one of those presentations and a Q&A. And these origin stories are coming back for season 2. And as a matter of fact, they're going to release them before they release season 2. This month in August, we're going to get our first origin story, and it's going to be centered around our boy Lan. They're going to tell the story of, his kingdom that fell, that he was supposed to be the king of. So we're going to get that in that origin story detail. I've seen a clip of it. It does not look as dark as they used to look.
Hell yeah.
And it looks like they're the characters' faces and shapes are more bold instead of that scratchy style. It's still scratchy backgrounds, but it's just more well lit. And we're going to be seeing one of those pretty soon. I don't know when, but as soon as one comes out, I'm going to be texting you immediately saying, watch this sucker and let's talk about it.
All right. As long as they corrected those issues that it seems like everyone had, like comments of saying like, this is bad. Yeah, fingers crossed. And it would be special appearance by Marshland Monster, just as they did special appearance by Edward Herman.
Yep, that makes total sense. Thank you for especially appearing on the Sweet Child of Time with me, James. Every episode you're here.
You're so welcome, sir.
All right. Well, I was going to interject. I'm going to go back and interject something you said 30 seconds ago. Whether you like it or not, you're going to be watching Origins with me, James.
No, truly, as long as they fix the darkness thing and the volume thing with the noises going on, I'm cool with it. And I'm guessing they didn't have a lot of time because it felt rushed due to the pandemic.
Yeah, I think that's true. But we'll see pretty soon here. They're going to be releasing those, and speculation is, I watched a lot of speculation Wheel of Time videos, and there was one particular, I don't remember who he was, but he, the guy with the bald head and the beard, and he wears a Wheel of Time shirt, and he YouTubes, one of those guys. His speculation was that they're going to release these Origins, and then they're going to release the season 2, like, immediately thereafter. So he's predicting like a September, October back to school thing. I'm hoping he's right because that seems like that timeline will work out. It might be 2023. We still don't know. What we do know is we got origin stories coming. We got season 2 coming, and we got season 3 absolutely coming. Even before season 2 is dropped, we already got season 3. They're putting bigger budgets into the show. So like, I should say, a Q&A was had with Rafe Judkins at the San Diego Comic-Con, and afterwards he went to Twitter and he was very open, not secretive at all. Like season 1, his Q&As before season 1 was released were real like tee-hee, tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff. Like, ooh, maybe this, maybe that. He was just straight up saying yes or no to these questions that he was asked. So we know that the episodes are going to be longer in length. We know that there's going to be a bigger budget for each episode. Obviously, it's going to be a bigger budget because this is a point I wanted to make earlier too. I'm glad I came back to it. More actors means a bigger budget. You got to pay all these actors, and that's something I failed to mention when I heard you and Jeff talking about that y'all weren't really a big fan of like all the different characters you got to keep track of. I'm like, those are all people that are employed now. And there's people employed to like assist them. So like, we got our friend Sean in the acting community. And this is good news for people like him, like these shows with these sprawling casts and like there's need for wardrobe and background actors for all these people. So this is going to be like a powerhouse of like a, employment agency, I guess. They're going to be employing a lot of actors here.
Yeah, over in Prague or wherever.
Yes. They'll ship some Americans in there. Who knows? I need to take a break.
No, they won't. Sean's going to be like, please let me go to Prague. And they'll say, no. You've said too many negative things about professional wrestling in Prague.
That's true. Word does get out. Let me take a quick pause here, James. My button is flashing at me. I'm going to hit that button and we're going to come right back.
All right.
And I'm back. That didn't take too long. I just wanted to mention that these origin stories that they're releasing, what's his name? Rafe confirmed that these are all going to be canon to the story and they're all going to be helpful to the viewers to understand certain parts of the story going forward. So it's kind of like he's saying these origin stories are required viewing if you're going to be a Wheel of Time person. So let's just keep that in mind going forward. Yeah. That's pretty much all the Wheel of Time news we got for this week, James, which is a lot of news. They had Wheel of Time Wednesday yesterday, and they announced nothing whatsoever. Just a couple people posted their art on Twitter, and nothing else happened. So that's our Wheel of Time week for this week, which is the week of August 4th. That's the day we are today. Yeah, James. So how's your week been? What you got going on?
Well, I have a segment, sir.
Ooh, like you're like a centipede with segments. What you got?
Yeah. Is there like a messaging system or a newspaper, something of that ilk within the Wheel of Time thing?
No, they pretty much get all their stuff from like old text books. There's no.
Who are the Aiel of or the people who know all the information? Which color is that?
Oh, okay, gotcha. I guess that would be the Greys. They're like the librarian types.
Okay, then.
I'm sorry, not the Greys. The Browns. The Browns.
Let's say. I don't know. I'm gonna be reading comments from people on this YouTube video. I don't have a name for the bit.
Okay, great.
I don't know the lore of this show enough to make a bit.
Well, let's see what we got. Maybe I can help. We can do this as we go, and we can figure this out.
All right, so we're going straight to the fans for this. First is someone named Kruger saying, my suggestion is ... If you have read the books, don't watch the show. It will only make you angry.
I think I know Kruger, and I think I think a lot of people speak and talk the same way Kruger does. Now, what did you want me to defer from that?
I don't know. I'm just reading these.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a pretty common opinion. What you got next?
Next is from Adam. He says, LMAO, time to watch all the men in this series be incompetent fools while untrained women can wipe out entire armies and heal death, all while having never trained a day. This show strayed so far from the source material it doesn't deserve to be called woke. Wow, man, Adam, you fucking suck.
Well, I mean, he raises some legitimate points, I have to say, but I'm not going to go down that road with Adam because I just see this show as a different telling of the Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time book itself says that this story has happened multiple times with vastly different outcomes and vastly different intertwinings. Like maybe this person married this person, maybe this person never met this person. All these worlds are possible and have happened.
Yeah.
So this show is legit. Sorry, Adam, but it's different, but it's it.
Well, this is A_Sherman is saying, here's to hoping for fewer, in quotes, artistic interpretations of the story. Fuck you, dude. Please, this is from Dane of Have saying, please cancel this horrid creation of a show. This makes House Party look like House Party 2. Joshua David says, I miss old Matt. Barney Harris simply crushed this role. This reminds me, I fucking know people just like Mikey Clark reviews for Insane Clown Posse. They haven't been good since they were with Mikey Clark. Shut up.
Yeah, those same Mikey Clark people, I think, are our book readers that hate the show that are not listening right now, so it's fine. But I can say that I kind of understand where they're coming from. Even that last guy, I agree with him. I loved Barney Harris. He was my favorite. I'm upset that he's gone.
Quit living in the past. Move forward, you fucking chuds.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I
Okay,
feel the
good.
same way. I'm feeling the same way this guy does, except for, I guess, I'm more accepting of the facts here.
Well, speaking of Matts, this is from Matthew Matus. They say, Jesus, this is a perversion of a great series.
They say that about every book to movie or every book to TV thing. Sorry, not a very original opinion, buddy.
All right, what's another one? There seems to be a disconnect between the like ratio and comments. Shut up, Kim.
It happens. I mean, social media is crazy. We know this, Kim.
But also, like, people can quickly leave a like. You have to go in and, like, I watch on my TV, on my Roku. I can't leave a comment on there, but guess what? I can give a like.
Right. Yeah. Man, I like the spirit of what we're doing here, and I wouldn't mind doing this every week, but I mean, I've already gone through all of this, and I wish I was more prepared for this segment, actually, because there are actual names there's names for people that on the Wheel of Time group that I'm part of, which is the Facebook group Wheel of Time TV series, because there's a lot of Wheel of Time groups. But this particular one is the one that I like, and that it's a Steve Barnes love fest. I love this place. Anyway, on there, they have names for people who are book readers and hate the show, book readers who love the show, book readers who, etc., TV viewers who have never read the books, etc. There's specific names we have for these people, and I can't remember them, but next week we're going to go into it.
Well, let's get on to some more positive comments. This is
That's what I like.
From Belle, and it's Belle and then the eggplant emoji. That's their username on YouTube. They say, awesome, loved the first season, got me to read the books, started reading the first one, super excited to get back to that world. Let's see if yeah, of course, like, oh, you're a woman, so I need to get all how are there's comments on her comment saying like, how are you feeling about the drastic differences in lore in this? And it's like, shut up.
Nothing bothers me worse when I make a positive because I did that just recently. I said something along those same lines on this forum, and most people came at me telling me that I was wrong and giving me opinions of why I was wrong and examples of why I was wrong, none of which I agreed with, which is fine. I just read them and that was that.
Wow, it's so weird. Like, I couldn't have predicted this. Like, if there's positive comments, it's going to be from a woman. And if it's a negative comment, gonna be from a dude. But there was some people saying can't wait for this. Is there a date for season 2 to be released? One person says, looks like more hot garbage. Thanks for ruining a classic series, Amazon. Seriously, fire everyone associated with trying to destroy the books. I'm S. Piranha. Or Pariah, I don't know.
Pariah.
Someone did say, who was that cool guy? B Black says, finally, been waiting for this, let's go.
Yes, same.
And then, of course, someone's got a comment saying, waiting for what exactly? Shut up, Jay Savvy.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, I think, that when they adapted this, they tried to bring the book readers in, and I think at this point they've realized that they've lost most of them. So I think they're a little more free to do what they want for season 2 and season 3, in my opinion.
The people who are clearly book readers who are giving positive comments, the recurring thing from those individuals is love the Aiel. That's what I'm talking about. Like seeing more of them in this teaser. They're like, hell yeah, I'm excited for that. Who are the Aiel? I thought those were the Aes Sedai.
No, the only Aiel we've met so far is the dead guy in the cage that Matt stole the stuff off of.
Hell yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, that's what people seem to be excited for if they're book readers, because how else would they know about the Aiel?
Well, they allude to him a lot in the show, and they actually had some conversations. So they've done a good job of introducing some of these cultures, but just kind of getting you ready for it.
No one would be like, I love the Aiel from what I've been presented with. You'd be like, I have no idea what's going on, because you're not really told that cool lady who killed a bunch of people was an Aiel, and clearly the mom maybe.
Right. Yes, she was absolutely, that was the personification of a classic Aiel, was her.
But we're not told specifically hey. So no one would be like, as watching it, it's like, man, I really love how they get murdered in cages, but at least their goodie bags aren't stolen.
I don't know. I do think that people who are I would think that you would have picked up on it, because they'd made a lot of allusions to red hair. Anybody with red hair is an Aiel, basically. And
I would not have picked up on, because of doing this show with you, I picked up on that kind of stuff. So I just think if I would have went into this, I wouldn't have, not that I wouldn't have been like, oh, I know, I've heard the name the Aiel and this might be what they're like. Just watching this show, I would not say, I love the Aiel.
No, you're right, I guess. But I do think there's probably people out there that have watched the show that haven't read the books that are aware of Aiel culture if they've watched the episode a few times. Because
who does that?
Me. Everybody.
No, absolutely not.
Anyway, you have to if you want to do a recap or if you want to review it or
yes, but these are just people watching to watch, not scholars about the shit.
Wow, okay. That's what I've done all my life is watch, rewatch. I've always enjoyed rewatches of things, especially when they drop clues at the beginning of what's going on and you can rewatch and catch those clues. And nothing that I've mentioned to you, with the exception of that scene, that season 2 scene that I unfortunately read to you involving Perrin, but everything else I talk about is information that I'm gleaning from the show and then just kind of explaining to you just a little bit further. But they absolutely talked about Aiels being warriors and the red hair thing, and they're not trusted, and they live a separate sort of life outside of everyone else, and they're legends. These little crumbs were dropped throughout the show.
Baby.
You didn't catch them.
Speaking of breadcrumb, I barely rewatch porn. So the only shows I will rewatch are like Community, 30 Rock, but I think I'm burnt out on those because I've watched them so frequently recently. So I got to wait a couple years. And then movies I rewatch is really just Troll 2 because I love showing it to people, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, Charlotte doesn't like to rewatch shows either. She's always watching something new, always looking for new things to watch. And right now she's got us watching RuPaul's Drag Race. She's going through all the seasons of that.
Hell yeah.
So that's what's in our living room all the time. And I do love the send-off when RuPaul is like, sending somebody off or whatever, or they're getting ready to do something. I don't know if you know this phrase, but I love it. He says, "Good luck and don't fuck it up." And that just connects with me. I like it. It's simple. It's sincere. It says everything you got to say.
If she's watched the Bianca Del Rio seasons, you guys should watch Hurricane Bianca, those movies that they did.
Okay.
They're on Netflix, I believe, still. They're fucking amazing.
Okay.
Your daughter, they're extremely, extremely, extremely raunchy.
Maybe. I kind of feel like RuPaul, this show, nothing raunchy is happening, but they talk raunchy as hell.
Yes, that's what I mean. The dialogue is fucking raunchy. So if she's experienced with that and you don't mind, they're hard R comedies.
Okay. Well, yeah, she is fine with that.
Okay.
She is definitely a young adult, we would say. And I'm sorry, you go ahead.
I was going to say, if you'd be okay with her watching, American Pie, you'd be like, okay, yeah, she can watch these Hurricane Bianca ones.
I'm sure she'll love it. Recently, I wanted to watch the Gwar documentary, This is Gwar. And so, Ashley, our friend over on Discord, told me about a pirate site you can go to, and it didn't work out for me. It worked for 20 minutes and then the pop-up start. So I had to go ahead and get a free subscription to a 7-day subscription to Shudder with the intention of watching This is Gwar and then immediately canceling. And I mistakenly told Heather and Charlotte that I had gotten Shudder.
Yeah,
and Charlotte has been watching Shudder all day, every day since, and she already told me we cannot get rid of it because she wants to burn through everything on that channel.
Is she watching Dragula, I'm guessing?
No, she's just watching movies. She's watching some movie called Summer of 1984. She saw that. She saw...
Oh, no, Summer of 1984 is fucking great. Ian from Horror Corridor suggested it on Mostly Speaking Sentai, and it was great. But you should... If she's into Drag Race, she should watch Dragula. It's just drag with horror themes to it.
Oh, whoa. I didn't... let me write that
down. And I believe that's a Shudder exclusive.
Oh, man. I had no idea.
I thought that's why she's like, I've been wanting to watch this. Do not get rid of Shudder.
She's into suspense, and she's really into those movies that... the horror movies that look like they're a documentary, but they're not, or like look like they're a found footage feature.
Yeah, found
but
footage.
They're not.
Oh my God, they're so dude. Hell House. Have her watch Hell House.
I've already watched Hell House with her.
Watch it's on there, I believe. Still,
Yes.
UFO abduction.
No, I haven't seen that or even heard of that.
She just tell her, like, as long as she knows the cultural significance of it, as it was the first found footage, but the acting is so fucking good in my opinion. We did it on This Existed.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's so good. Have her check it out. It's also only like 45 minutes. So, yeah, it was made for maybe like $2,000.
I've seen it myself like a while back, and like when I saw that you guys did a podcast on it, of course I put my ears into that and listened to it. Hell yeah! What else have we been watching? I don't know. That's been taking up all our time. But the whole reason I got Shudder, like I said, was to watch the This Is Gore documentary. And I don't know if you're aware of this already, but we have a guest booked for August 26th, which is a Thursday, of course. Adam Kravitz from Future Projector is going to be joining us, and we're going to be promoting his show. He rented out the historic Byrd Theater here in Richmond, Virginia, in Carytown. It's like a classic. We'll talk about this with Adam. It's like a classic theater that's been here longer than anybody else. And they Gwar recently rented out the Byrd Theater for their movie premiere, and invited everybody to come watch This Is Gwar before it came on Shudder. And so Adam has rented out Byrd Theater for his band to do a performance, a record release. And Future Projector, you may or may not know this, is a band that has a projector screen behind them, and they have images that the band makes and videos. It's real trippy, very awesome stuff. I posted some of their stuff on my Instagram. But they're going to have the huge Byrd Theater screen, the whole stage to perform. I mean, even Gwar didn't perform there. They're going to be like a live performance. It's going to be during the daytime, September 10th, if you want to go ahead and mark your calendar. But Adam's going to be on here, and it's going to be interesting, not just because both he and Gwar have rented the Byrd Theater out, like yawn, who cares? But Adam has played with Gwar. He's shared the stage with him multiple times.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's seen this documentary. He knows the guys. So it'd be great to hear his perspective of This Is Gwar. And I'd like to talk to him about that if we can.
Now, renting out theaters is okay, but I do need to tell you, I rented out a room at the Dairy. I'll be in town frequently.
You mean the Dairy here in Virginia?
This is clearly a joke.
Oh.
You looked so enthused about it. I was like, oh, I can't. We are not about to do improv. I'm going to start doing a lie to my friend. I can't do this.
Yes, there is there's a place called the Dairy here in Did you know about this already?
I watched the documentary.
Oh, duh.
That's why I brought it up. Steve!
Jesus Christ.
I'm the one who hasn't eaten in like 12 hours, and I thought that was going to be the issue here, but no, something's wrong, Steve.
It's been longer than 12 hours since I'm eating, too. I'm back on that whole, what do you call it, the intermittent fasting kick. So I haven't eaten since like 8 o'clock last night.
I did message you, and I said, hey, I'm watching a documentary about your hometown, and you're like, holy shit, what is it? And then instantly you said, oh, it's a Gwar documentary, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it is.
Because at first I was like, wow, what would he be watching? And I just started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, God damn it. Yeah.
It came out today, of course.
Yes.
Because Nicole normally we eat breakfast together, and Nicole just was not waking up. I was like, okay, it is 10 o'clock. I'm just going to start watching this Gwar documentary and just finish it later, I guess, if she wakes up during it. But yeah, it's fucking great. I want to watch all their movies now. Yeah,
right. I got one right behind you here. If maybe that can be part of the bet, our little bet about Matt's return in season 2. If I lose, I'll send you one of these Gwar VHSs.
I really need to get an upscaler so I can upscale VHSs to digitize them.
Right.
Because that's not, like, besides in shit quality, it's not really anywhere to watch. And the VHS is affordable, but the DVD of it is mad expensive.
Yeah. But you have a VHS player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
So I can watch it myself and be fine, but
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Archive it for the world.
Gotcha. Well, I was just concerned about having your eyes watching it, not anybody else's.
They need to remaster that because they said it was filmed on 35 millimeter, at least Phallus in Wonderland.
I have a feeling that this documentary is going to be, they've had quite a few things like kickstart their career again throughout the past 30 years. And I have a feeling this documentary is going to kick them up again.
Yeah.
And we're going to start seeing some more merch. And I mean, we're not going to see more shows because they're already playing shows like crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about this when we're with Adam, but I will give you the best person you could ever follow on Instagram if you're a Gwar fan, which is Mike Dirks. If you remember Mike Dirks from the documentary, he was like the guitar player that sat with the guy who got shot, refused to run with everybody, and he's still in the band. And his Instagram account, he posts every day, and he never posts like in character or anything. It's just his perspective of the behind the scenes everyday Gwar stuff. And right now they're overseas in Europe, and he's just posting pictures of the guys just, hanging out around Europe and just doing different things. And it's wonderful. I think the account is called Dirks Mike Dirks. But definitely recommend that one.
Nicole, she was watching it later on. Like, we got high that day, and then after we were coming down, I was like, hey, can we finish this Gwar doc? And at the end, she's like, fuck, am I into Gwar now? And I was like, I think so. Because, at least, like, their mythos is cool. Like, Gwar would be, like, what we did with Shuffling the Deck. Gwar would be a great thing because there's lore behind all of it.
And there's some pretty bad albums that were released as well that would be fun to talk about. Absolutely. Like their first, for Steve Barnes, the Richmond, Virginia fan, I've been into him for a long time. And when I first got into him, like in 1988, I felt like I had already missed all the best Gwar stuff. Even back then, like, because all my friends were like, oh, you should have seen the Schaefer Court show. You should have been there for Death Piggy, man.
Damn.
And I was like 1988, like right there at the very beginning of the real the Gwar that we know now. And I was like, oh, man, I missed all the fun stuff. And like didn't really take in that I was there at the beginning too, just a couple years removed. My whole point, though, is being that their first two albums, Hello, and then not Live from Antarctica. I can't remember their second album. Everybody knows it. I'm having a hard time with this right now. Scumdogs of the Universe. That's it.
Okay.
Those first two albums, I feel, are like listenable albums that I can put on tracks and like listen to them. And after a while, they started putting out songs that were more like theme songs, like jokey songs, like songs that are like, more, I don't know.
No, they got into it on the documentary of the period where some of them were like, we're like a comedy band. We're no longer like trying to do punk or metal. It's just this weird shit. We're becoming avant-garde in our music instead of just avant-garde in our stage presentation.
Right. So their music got better, especially like when they got better guitarists in the band and they started getting heavier. But even so, I'm sure that music is still, I'm sure I would like it. I'm sure it's listenable. I don't have any of those albums, even the newest albums. I only have the first two, but I go see them at least once or twice a year. I watch their videos. So I guess you wouldn't say I'm like an all-in Gwar fan, like one of the Bohabs, because I'm not super into their music, but I love their whole spirit and I love seeing them live, and I recognize all their songs. I know every song they play live. I don't have the albums, but it's okay to go into Gwar and hate them, but still have a good time. The second Gwar show, I keep talking about Gwar. The second Gwar show I went to was with my sister and my friend Teresa, both of whom were, I guess now you might describe them as normies, I suppose. My sister would admit to that, and so would Teresa. They're not into metal music. They're not into going to shows and anything like that. They're more into pop music and, watching, I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
they walked away from that gigantic Gwar fans. They absolutely loved the show. Like, I couldn't get my sister to stop talking about it, and she's seen them since then.
Hell
it's completely outside of her wheelhouse, but anybody who experiences it, I think, just kind of gets it. And if you don't, then you don't. I mean,
that kind of stuff of you talking about like, oh, you should have been at this show or this show. I really want to someday try, and like times are starting to run out because like punks, they lived a hard life back in the late 90s, late 80s, early 90s. G.G. Allin used to live in my hometown. That was his like home away from home. His address sometimes was in Muskegon, Michigan, with the ice pick and all of that. I want to do like just a documentary podcast of trying to find, because there was this dude who like there are people who were friends with G.G. Allin and just knew him as a man, not as this crazy dude with all these outlandish antics. And there was this guy who I was always afraid to talk to that was at my community college, and the guy who what's it called who taught me an audio production class. He was like, hey, you like G.G. Allin, you should talk to so-and-so. He was friends with him. He loves telling stories, but I was just afraid to do it because this man also looks like a scary punk rocker. And I was like, I'm just a sensitive boy over here. But yeah, someday I would love to do that. Just even for just myself. I don't need to release it. I want to talk to these people and hear stories that have never been heard because no one was documenting it. Like when he went down to Florida to record Carnival of Excess, the dude who was recording that and like produced it and all of that had the foresight of like, I need to document this entire experience. So you can watch that today.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that you're a podcaster, of course, even if you don't release the podcast and you just do it for your own benefit, you can still like have your laptop and your microphones and set up and like, hey, I'm doing a documentary podcast. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. It's a perfect end to talk to anybody now.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be scared to talk to anybody. I was talking to one of our customers yesterday when I was changing his meters here in Hanover, and he was about 90 years old. Fascinating person, super well spoken. I was like, I want to have this guy on my podcast. He's got so much to say. He's great.
Yeah.
Because that'd be the best way for me to like ask him questions, I think, because otherwise I just had to listen to him ramble and then like ask him questions based on what he was telling me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like in a situation where I could start asking him the questions I really wanted to ask him. Podcasting, baby.
But I think that's it for today, right?
That is, we podcasted. And yeah, let's wrap it up here, James. Tell us some of your plugs you got going on this week. You always got different plugs. I love it.
Hey guys, I believe Exploding Load, the new Dragon Boy Suede Marshland Monster single, is coming out, hopefully, if everything works out well, August 26th.
Nice.
I think
Exploding Load.
I think it's our best song yet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm really into Baltic states. I just love.
That's not even done, man.
I know. I'm just telling you, like what I've heard of you and Howard Do. That's the favorite thing I've heard so far.
I haven't done anything on it.
You sent me something that was rad.
Yeah, his vocals, and I guess the beat is me, but
I don't know. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. My favorite thing
sorry I liked something you were involved with.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, Gene Material is my favorite. Is that better?
I guess. I'm looking for my list of the patrons that we read off. I probably can list them off by, hey guys, head over to patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content. It's great stuff over there. Exclusive podcast. Also for $10 a month, you get more exclusive content, plus shout outs into every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those. I hope I can remember all of them, starting with Steve F., Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex Z, The Waz, Orion, he's a rapper, D-Fo, Kayla, aka Two Grapes, Jordan B, the Chaos Witch, I believe the next one is my
Tyler.
mom. Oh, yeah, you are actually the next one. It's Steve Barnes. You know him. My mom, the womb in which I came out of, and then Shane, Lil Corey's best friend and roommate. I believe that's everyone.
It sounded like everyone. I'm sorry to throw in. I thought Tyler Wright was one of them for some reason. I don't know why.
He is, but no longer.
Screw you, Tyler Wright. I still love Tyler Wright. Come on.
Inflation and such
I get
had
it.
to make him.
I did the same thing too. Don't feel ashamed, Tyler. I dropped down to. I was a $5 Patreon myself for a little while. I bumped it back up recently, but
No, he's a $0 Patreon now.
it happens. It happens. He listens to the free feeds though. He's got to.
I don't think he does. He just wanted a way to support us, and I was like, just listen to the show, and he's like, ah. I was like, come on, dude.
That's the very least you can do. Okay, I'm going to admit something. Like, I have some friends that have podcasts, not James. I have other friends that have podcasts. I'll sometimes download their podcast, let it play for 5 or 10 minutes, and then that's it, just so they get at least one more listen or download from me, whether I'm listening to the whole thing or not. I'm going to help you out. So you can do the same thing for James, Tyler. You're listening, Tyler. I know you are. Listen to more of James's podcast. Listen to my podcast, Sweet Shot of Time. You're listening to it right now. Listen to my band, Intro Void.
I don't think he is.
Sure he is. He's listening to Intro Void every day. He's downloading the music. He's listening to We Ran from the Crow's Eyes all afternoon. Listen to Rebecca Crow. And that's about all the plugs I got for this week, James. Did you find that piece of paper you're looking for?
Yeah, it was just on the other side of the piece of paper that I had in front of me. The only one I forgot was Nicole's brother, a.k.a. my brother-not-in-law, but whatever, Joshua.
That's who I was thinking of. I said brother. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Not Tyler. I was thinking of Joshua. Anyway.
Joshua?
But enough of our rambling, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. We'll be releasing a recap episode of episode 1. We'll be talking to Adam Kravitz in the future. But for right now, James, over there in Chicago, I hope you always find some water and some shade and some yummy food.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.